Hi there, and welcome to the Everyday Entrepreneur podcast, where I, Caitlin Fritz, help you reach your entrepreneurial potential. Together, we can build your dream social impact business so that you can leave a legacy beyond your 9-to-5. Amazing. So I am so excited to have Yuru Guo here with us today to share, honestly, her incredible story of how she started Hey, Food is Ready. So welcome to the show, Yuru.
Oh, hello, everyone. Thank you for having me.
So honestly, I've been following you for quite a while because I am a foodie myself. So can you share with everyone what is Hey, Food is Ready?
Yes, of course. So, Hey Food is Ready is an online marketplace connecting independent chefs from different cultural backgrounds with companies looking for a diverse selection of their event catering options. So, in a simple word, it's like if you are hosting any private or corporate events, and instead of those kind of beige sandwich buffet, and you can order from Hey Food is Ready from a diverse selection of chefs from different cultural backgrounds with food like samosas or falafels or Vietnamese spring rolls rather than the beige sandwich buffet.
Oh my gosh, yes. Like, don't get me wrong, I love a Pret sandwich, but sometimes that is just so overdone at every networking event.
Lately, yeah. So we just want to make the catering more impactful, delicious, and yeah.
So, but how did this all start? Because I know you mentioned this started while you were in university.
Yeah.
So, what are the origin stories?
Yeah, so I studied at Durham University and we have different colleges. So I was living in Trevelyan College and with friends from all around the world. At that time, we have the Friday potluck dinner every week. So my friends from different cultural backgrounds, so they always bring like different dishes representing their country. So I thought, oh, what a great way to share like different cultures. And I think in the UK, they're very like diverse people living here, and what a great way to create maybe like a platform connecting those people like my friends who want to use our platform to share like different foods and their food cultures and also make a meaningful income at the same time. So that's how I got the idea.
So, okay, so you have this amazing idea. I love a good potluck, so totally understand. What were your very kind of like next first steps so you in your journey?
Yeah, so I study management entrepreneurship at Durham University. So as part of my degree, we like each of us need to like think about a business idea alongside our dissertation. So this is one of the idea that I had at that time. So I was like, maybe I should just do market research and get to talk to people and get to know, how to get started. So at that time I interviewed around 50 cooks and also a lot of like individual clients as well and asking them what's your idea of ordering food from like cooks and like ordering food from their own kitchen, and what's your main concern, what really makes you enjoy that kind of experience. So from there I started the whole journey.
I think that's incredible because it's almost like you turned a project into a full-fledged business. I mean, you've won awards for it. It's absolutely incredible. Now, what I'm really interested in is, you kind of are like an Airbnb dual-sided marketplace model.
Yeah.
How did you decide which side to focus on first? Because there are the cooks, there are the events.
Yeah, completely. So initially when we started, we're more like a B2C platform. So like Airbnb or DoorDash or Just that kind of platform. So we focusing on the individual customers, and we meet a lot of like difficulties because at that time we're like really small. We have a small team, and we only have a few cook on the platform. So individual and the cooks which working with us already have their stable client base, so they don't really need us to find additional customer for them because it's more like operating in a very like community based kind of environment. And then we thought about scaling up. So we pivot to a B2B model where we're connecting those independent cooks from with the corporate like event managers. So from there, our order value become really big, and then more cooks are interested in joining our platform because with us they can get like bigger corporate orders, and they also can work with like very reputable corporate clients as well. So that time we see a very big growth on our cook side. So we use that strategy. We call it demand-led strategy. So we find the demand side first, and then use the demand to attract our cooks.
I love that. And then let's talk about these cooks because I am so curious. You know, what's really interesting about Hey Food is Ready is the cooks are home based, if I'm
Yeah,
correct.
yeah,
They
that's right.
come from, I think you mentioned 40 plus cultures represented,
Yeah, that's
three
correct.
different cities.
Yeah.
So how did you gain the trust of these cooks? How did you get them on board? And also, what kind of social impact are you causing in their lives?
Yeah, so we help cooks like from refugee backgrounds, immigrants, their home parents, or really like anyone who love cooking to use our platform to make meaningful income. So we work with like a lot of community centers in Newcastle and London and work with them so that they trust us because like they already in the part of the community, and we work with the community center, so we deliver workshops and regular meetup with them so that they feel that this is like very trustful and confident environments. And yeah, so that's how we get to know them. And then afterwards we post a lot of like event pictures on social media as well, so that they saw that how the event looks like. And then we receive like a lot of inbound conversation from them as well, and be like, oh, I want to be part of the platform, I want to share my food culture with the wider community. And then we take them on board as well. So initially a lot of like outbound conversations working with community centers and partnerships as well, and now we have more inbound conversations.
I mean that's the way to do it. You kind of you're not just talking the talk, you're really walking the walk with being roots on the ground. I mean, how big is your team to make this happen? Because you're in so many cities with so many cooks.
Yeah. So we have me, and we also have Luke as well. He currently work in the bank, but weekend he join us and work full time like during weekends. And then we also have a team of advisors from different platforms as well. So we have a tech advisor, and he's the CTO of Mobile D. So it's like a car dealer platform in Germany. And we
Nice.
also have advisors from Pizza Eats, which is like a similar kind of business but operating in Malaysia. And we also
Oh, nice.
advisors from Cod Deck, and he used to work in Deliveroo as a global ghost kitchen department, but now he's had his like own, like the operating the food consulting platform. So
I mean, that's a power team behind you.
yeah.
And then what about your cooks? Are they repeat? Are they someone, one-off kind of individuals? Or are these people who are also kind of constantly in your ecosystem?
Yeah, they're constantly in our system. So we not only, like we are not only working with them, but also we host like regular cooks meetup. For example, back to November, we hosted like one cooks meetup in London. So it's more like everybody bring a dish and they come along to meet each other as well. Because a lot of time those cooks they operating in their own kitchen, and they like they're very like isolated from the whole community, and the whole thing of our platform is to bring them to the forefront and also to create this community for them to really get to know other people as well, and to make friends, or make like-minded meet like-minded people.
That's so important, especially in nowadays. I feel like 2024 is the year of community. You need to
Yeah,
keep authentic kind of relationships involved in business.
completely. So it was really nice to see like all of them coming together and to meet each other. And some of them were like talking about things like, oh, I saw your food on like Hey Food is Ready's social media, and it's good to finally try them, or like just building those kind of connections among them, which is really good.
Now, you as a founder, because I know you have won awards with, the UK Innovate UK Young Innovator Award. How has it been being one, a female founder in this space, and two, being this young entrepreneur kind of disrupting
Yes.
such an established kind of catering industry?
Completely. I think definitely a lot of like challenge and difficulties, but same time, I really want to use like my own story to empower more like chefs or cooks who want to enter the space and just to show them the possibility that this industry still have, and also like just the possibility of being a female founder and to empower more people who want to start their business, not really just food business, but like just business in general to really get started. And I work with Durham University Venture Lab and also like the other community centers as well. So deliver talks to tell them what it looks like to be a female entrepreneur and to start the business. And a lot of people reach out to me and be like, oh, I have this idea, but I don't know where to get started. And I always sort of like point them to the right direction and give them some sort of like key learnings that I had when I started, and use that to empower them and to get more people to start their business. And I think it's something I really enjoy doing. And also it's good to see more female in the space, which is good. Yeah.
I am championing it all the way. And I kind of want to bring that up. So it's great that people are kind of coming to you as this fount of knowledge. So Hey Food is Ready is almost now, I think, 3 years old. I think it's over 2 years.
Yeah, over 2 years. Yeah.
So when these people come to you and ask for advice, what advice would you give yourself if
Mhm.
you were going to go back to those very early days?
Yeah, I think first thing would be like really dream big and make it happen. So at the beginning, I wasn't sure like if it's the right direction. There's a lot of like concerns, and but for me, like I really enjoy entrepreneurship or being like have my own business. So it's always like one of my dreams when I was like 5 years old. So I wouldn't give up at that time. But I think if um I can give one piece of advice, maybe two pieces of advice for the old me. First will be like dream big and make it happen. So ignore all those like negative voice around me and be like, you can't do this, you can't do that, and just have a very clear goal and work towards that. And I think if you have a very clear goal and people around you will see your energy and see all your ambitions and they will help you any way they can. So I think that's something I would give like tell myself back then. And the second one will be like really if you have a clear goal, work towards it and don't really listen to like don't really compare yourself with others. I feel like one thing I learned through the journey is like everybody have their own clock, and sometimes especially for me or for people from my age and saying your friends have a very stable job and starting a lot of like different things can be really stressful. And sometimes I especially at night I feel like, oh, am I going anywhere? Is this the right direction? Like people get promotion in their work and maybe they start their family or they buy a first house, and that kind of moment really stress me out sometimes and be like, oh, I worked so hard for this and am I getting the same level of reward? And but one thing I learned is like everybody have their own clock, and everybody doing things in their own timeline. So don't really compete with other people about this kind of thing, and really just to focusing on yourself and your own timeline and do things that makes you feel comfortable and confident.
Honestly, been there myself. I feel like it's those like 11:30 p.m. creepy crawlies that come in your mind and you're like, wow, scrolling through Instagram and someone exactly right, bought a house, started a family, but building a business is a completely different, exactly like you mentioned, clock.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
having that kind of determination and mindset to kind of push all of those, thoughts aside and also the comparison traps aside, that honestly is an accomplishment in itself.
Completely. Yeah, sometimes it gets to me like especially at night, as you mentioned. But I think one thing and one mindset we develop is like along this journey, everybody have their own timeline and you achieve certain things, which or maybe you meet some experience, but also you get a certain reward as well. So um,
So speaking of your timeline, like when Or can you tell me a moment where like you're most proud of in these past 2+ years with your business?
Oh, most proud. That's a good question. I feel like there's so many, maybe more like a small moments rather than like a
Hmm.
very big moment. So like small moments, for example, when we get a catering order from like Vogue, and that was like a big moment. All of our cooks were super exciting about this experience. We got to go to like the Vogue house and to not only cater for their food, but also deliver the whole like presentation as well. So they invite all the editors and people working there to come along, which is such a good moment.
That,
Uh,
yeah.
yeah, so that's like an achievement for our team. And also, like when we won the Innovate UK Inclusive Innovation Award, and we got 50K from the UK government to be all this, the technology side of the platform. Like when we see the email coming through and be like, congratulations, you got this money. And we're like, oh my God, that's such a big moment for us. And we work so hard on the applications, build tractions, build the community. So I think those small moments are really, the highlight of the whole journey. And also just like sometimes like talking with chefs and learning about their stories, and it really makes me feel like this is something that I started, but also see the real impact towards like some people, which is really, really, really nice. For example, one of our cooks coming from Iraq, and we hosted one event and inviting her to come along to showcase her food culture. And with that kind of like confidence and the good review that she got from the clients, and she finally built the confidence of knocking on her neighbor's door and share a homemade biryani with her neighbor, because initially she wasn't really sure, like, oh, because my English neighbor like my food. But from the event that she catered with our platform, she was more like, reinforced that this is something that maybe English people also like. And then she knocked on her neighbor's door, shared the biryani, and now they're good friends and start hung out. So I think that's something, this kind of little story really makes me feel like impactful and rewarding.
That is incredible. And that's the thing I think people don't see when it's in business is all of these ripple effects, especially a
Yeah,
business like yours where there's it's people centric.
yeah, completely. We want to keep people in the like, or the human connections at the heart of like ordering food.
Because
And
that's where it all comes from. I mean, at least where I'm Italian American, where you happy eat, sad you eat, families
yeah,
together you eat.
completely. Yeah, food
Basically,
is
we're eating all the
like an
time.
important part, completely.
So then share with me, and the listeners, what's next for Hey Food is Ready? Like, what is on the horizon? What does 2024 hold for you?
Yes, completely. So for 2024, first of all, we want to close our funding round so that we'll be able to bring more like community managers and salesperson in our team to really build out the core team. And secondly, we want to onboard more corporate clients ready to, hone our sales side of the work, and then get more corporate clients on board so that because we already have a like very solid community of cooks, and we want all of them to get the opportunity to cook their food, to share their food culture. So we want to have a growing number of client base, which is really important for the whole business. And then third, I think it's more like we might start to explore different cities as well, and to see where else we can go with our cooks.
Amazing. So definitely be on the lookout wherever you are in the UK, is what I'm hearing.
Thank you.
So
Completely.
if people want to order or find out more about you and your story, where should they look?
They can come to our platform. So it's www.heyfoodisready.com. And Hey is HEYFOODISREADY.com.
Amazing. And if you haven't checked out their social media, you have to because the behind the scenes, seeing the cooks in action, seeing the food alone, you need to absolutely check that out.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you, Yuru, for being on the show. And I'm so excited and also now really hungry.
Aw. It's almost lunchtime. Yeah, thank you so much for having me. And it's such a good opportunity to share my experience and those kind of like high and lows with everyone.
Thank you for joining me for this episode of Everyday Entrepreneurship. To stay tuned and most up to date, subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. You can follow me, Caitlin Fritz, on Instagram. And if you have any questions about building your business with impact, drop me an email with the link in the show notes. This podcast is produced by the great people at the Podcast Boutique. I look forward to catching up with you next week. See you then.